Hey, friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you had a good holiday. Completely random video today where I'm going to go back to some tier ranking because that was always fun. And today I'm going to tier rank could have been, should have been, would have been main eventers in WWE. I found this tier rank here courtesy of, who is this? Really? Larson Reddick 8? That's not my Larson. I don't know whose Larson that is, but it's Larson Reddick 8. So you can follow him wherever you can follow him. Right there on the, what is it, Twitter, I guess. It's on the Twitter. All right. So anyways, so we've got, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, like 20 people here. And we're going to tier rank. How much of a miss was it that these names were not main eventers? So let's take a look at the list here. I'll be honest with you. This person here doesn't have a head. There's no head for this person. Who is this person here? Fucking what? Who is this person? I can't even see. The fuck are they? It's just a really buff body. God damn it, that could be anybody. Well, it's okay. I guess you're not in, pal. We got Rusev, Cody Rhodes, R-Truth, MVP. This is John Morrison, I think. Is that John Morrison? Owen, Hart, Ryback, Test, Cesaro, Bob Holly. All right, Bob Holly. Who is this? $1 Million Man, Jeff Jarrett. Is this Albert? Is this when Albert was what was Albert's name when he was a Japanese character? Damian Sandow, the Headless Wonder, whoever the fuck this is, Carlito, Sting, Samoa Joe, Wade Barrett, Maga. Is this DiBiase's son? I think that we'll say that's Ted DiBiase Jr., whatever his name is. Razor Ramon. This is Billy Gunn. Is that Daddy Ass? Scissor me, Daddy. I was about to say finger me, Daddy Ass. It's scissor me, Daddy Ass. And of course, Mr. Anderson. No, Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy. So yeah, that guy. The guy with the microphone. I don't fucking, I guarantee, here's the funny thing. I guarantee, go back to me. I guarantee that y'all are going to know who this buff ass motherfucker is without a head. And I'm not, and I don't know who it is, but I know you guys are going to know, and you're going to put it in the comments, and I'll be like, so believe me, let me know in the comments who you think this buff dude is. What the fuck? I don't know who that is. Okay, so after putting this video together, I realized that it's Chris Masters, of course, of the Master Lock Challenge. I would have put Chris Masters in the doubtful area because I just don't think that he had the personality to be a main eventer. I think you need that extra something, not just a lock that, people can't really get out of. So yeah, I would have put him in doubtful. It's Chris Masters. You can still let me know who it is in the comments below, though, if you want to. I don't really care. Was this Albert? What was it? Lord Tensai. That was his name. That was Albert's name. Lord to Matt Bloom. I'll start off with this. What do you smoke? Oh shit, this is not the right thing. Hold on. Here, we'll start off with Lord Tensai. What are you smoking? Because that dude, no, man, I'm sorry. Lord Tensai, if this is in fact Lord Tensai. I thought that it was kind of cool because I know Albert had a good run. Matt Bloom had a good run in Japan when he was there. I don't know for who, probably All Japan. And then he showed up in WWE and he was like sort of a monster. But I don't know, man. I don't know how long that really was meant to be. I feel like Albert really went along the career trajectory. Lord Tensai went along the career trajectory that he was supposed to. I don't ever see that guy as having been a main eventer. Maybe in 1995. But even then you had or 1994, 93, you had like Yokozuna at top. Maybe a character like that who's like not of the same culture that he's coming from could potentially main event. I don't think Albert was going to be a main eventer. Let's start off with definitely. All right, let's start off with definitely. Well, number one, we know this guy's probably going to be the next champion in WWE, Cody Rhodes. So definitely, yeah. Even if it was back then, I feel like they misused Cody Rhodes, but never to the degree that he couldn't come back from it. So yeah, clearly Cody Rhodes is on the definitely here. Let's move on to another. Okay, so another definite is DB is the $1 Million Man. 1,000%. In fact, In fact, I think he did main event a WrestleMania, and I know he was never WWF. He actually was WWE champion. I think they don't recognize it or whatever it is. But I think there was one of those weird situations where like he actually did defend the title on the house show circuit for a couple days or a couple weeks or something like that. But WWF never recognizes him that. But absolutely, I think 1,000,000% the $1 Million Man could have and should have been a main eventer during his peak. So yeah, I think that was definitely something that should have happened. Let's go with another definite, and I'm going to say Razor Ramon. I think had he stuck around, had he not gone to WCW, he would have been a main eventer, basically by virtue of who was left there. If you look at, for example, like the main event scene around King of the Ring 96, you know, it's like, who is it? It's Shawn Michaels, of course, but then they brought in like Ultimate Warrior. They had a couple other names that was like, okay, like British Bulldog main evented a show. I think it was that one. I think it was King of the Ring against HBK. But yeah, Razor Ramon, I think in like probably if they would have pivoted away from being Al Pacino and Scarface, Tony Montana, I think that they probably would have had something, and he should have absolutely definitely been a main eventer. So I believe that one. Another guy I absolutely believe should have been a main eventer in WWE was Samoa Joe. I'll put him behind Razor Ramon because Samoa Joe, I know he did have a main event match against Brock Lesnar. Yeah, he wasn't WWE champion. I think that he could have been. He's the best promo maybe in the history of wrestling. The dude is outstanding. He's a terrific wrestler. Everything about Samoa Joe says this dude should have been a huge name in WWE. And in fact, if Vince McMahon had been shamed out of the company a couple of years earlier, he probably would have been, because he was phenomenal. Another guy I'm going to give a definite status to, and it all depends on when it would have lined up. But how do you say Sting couldn't, like, there's any question about Sting? Sting, absolutely. Had he come over in 2001, he probably would have been a mainstay in the company. I know Vince didn't generally like non-Vince creations, but I think if you look at another guy who was a main eventer, Booker T, who held, the big gold belt a bunch of times, who was up there with a bunch of others, maybe not, to the degree that other people were main eventers. Booker T did a pretty great job, and I think Sting would have had a higher ceiling than Booker T. So I think Sting for sure would have been a main eventer in WWE. Another guy, I'll start with some pretty sures. I'm pretty sure Damian Sandow could have been a main eventer. I think he had everything. And I think he was very well made for WWE, which is why when he went to Impact and did the whole like bitter, former WWE guy promo, it just didn't work because he's very sports entertainment. And then later on when he was doing like the Liberace version of his character in Impact, I thought it was really, really entertaining. I thought the intellectual savior of the masses, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to give him a definite, but I'm pretty damn sure. I'm going to put him at the top of the pretty sures. Another guy I'm pretty sure could have been a main eventer there in WWE would be Wade Barrett. I feel like if it wasn't for injuries and maybe Cena bearing the Nexus at SummerSlam that one year, I feel like if treated right, Wade Barrett, I'm pretty damn sure he could have been a main eventer. Am I going to say definitely? Not really, but I'm a big fan of Wade Barrett. Nothing he did was all that particularly interesting back then, but I feel like that's more in the creative than him, but we'll kind of never know. Another guy who I feel just suffered from, mid-creative, but I'm pretty sure could have been a main eventer based on his wrestling alone, would be Cesaro. I'm pretty sure he could have been not quite the captivating persona as maybe these other two guys here in the pretty sure category, but I really like his work now that he's in AEW/Ring of Honor. I think that his promos just come off as genuine, and you sort of believe that he's kind of a badass, and he doesn't have to say it. So there's another one there. Let's return back to the what are you smoking pile here, and we're going to go with Jeff Jarrett. Look, I like Jeff Jarrett. I think he's just fine, and clearly he was a main eventer in WCW because Vince Russo really loved him. He was a main eventer in his father's territory because it was his father's territory. That being said, if we're talking about WWF, WWE, I don't see at any point Jeff Jarrett being a main eventer there. It just, at his peak, he was Intercontinental Champion. He was kind of entertaining. I was never his biggest fan there. When he moved over to WCW, I really didn't like him. I missed a lot of his stuff in TNA, which I go back now and really appreciate. And I appreciate Jeff Jarrett's legacy in pro wrestling. I just don't think that he ever could have been at all in any way, shape, or form a main eventer in WWE. Another guy I'm pretty sure, but not. I'll put him above Wade Barrett. Rusev, what we've seen from him as Miro makes me think that, yeah, he probably could have been a main eventer in WWE had they treated him drastically different there. I mean, he had some signature matches or feuds anyways. He feuded a lot with John Cena. They had a couple of awful matches. He had a really great moment at WrestleMania where he drove a tank in. That was really cool. But Rusev was really, I mean, he was on a good run for a while. The Redeemer character in AEW, I think definitely could be a main eventer there. Unfortunately, they seem to be having some problems with, that arrangement. Whoever is on the right or wrong side, I don't know necessarily because I'm not there. But yeah, I feel like Miro, Rusev, whoever, I'm pretty sure he could be a main eventer in WWE. If they brought him over as the Redeemer, put him back with Lana, I think that you could probably do some really cool stuff with Miro once Roman Reigns is out of the way. Let's go to some doubtfuls. I'm going to leave R-Truth alone for now. MVP, I was never a fan of him. I think that I like him much better as a manager. I think he's actually stellar as a manager. I think he's a really good manager. I just never really saw it as a wrestler. I'm sure plenty of people out there might disagree with that, but I don't really see it with MVP as a wrestler. Doubtful that he could be a main event. A U.S. champion guy? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see here. Test, I'll also put in the doubtful area. He had the look, but I always kind of felt like Test was a bit of a black hole of charisma. He just didn't have that thing, that thing that sort of fucking stands out at you through the camera. I just didn't see it. Another guy that I'm doubtful of would be Hardcore Holly. I'll give a what are you smoking? I don't know why he's even on this list. I mean, he was probably like what, Intercontinental Champion, something like that. Bob Holly, he just no. I don't. No. Here's a guy that I'll put at the very end of the pretty sure list. Although Bruce Pritchard seemed to think that he had attitude issues, but if he didn't, if he played completely straight the entire time and really bought into what Vince McMahon was doing, because apparently Bruce Pritchard thinks he didn't, is Carlito. I'm going to put Carlito just above Cesaro because I think remember how he debuted? He beat John Cena for the U.S. title. The whole I'm going to fucking spit on your face with Apple stuff I thought was cool. I don't like to be around people who don't want to be cool. I thought that was a cool catchphrase. I thought he had everything, man. He had a great look, handsome dude, good wrestler. I don't know what happened with him. If Pritchard is to be believed, yeah, I guess so. Let's go to Umaga. So I was never really a huge fan of Umaga, but I'm pretty sure if a bunch of people got injured, he could have stepped into a main event spot. It seemed clear that they were grooming him to be a main event guy, and I don't know what happened. I never really looked it up or anything. Maybe I will. I'm sure Brian Zane did a video on him or something like that. So it looks like Umaga got 2 violations of the wellness policy, and he was let go. So I don't know if he was already past his time, if he had his time and then it went. I really wasn't watching a whole lot of wrestling when Umaga was hot. I wasn't really a huge fan of his, but I'm pretty sure if enough people got injured, Umaga, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button, little notify bell. That'd be appreciated. Let's move on here. Ryback, what are you smoking? Ryback had the look. He really did. I believe Ryback more than I believe Jeff Jarrett. In fact, actually, I'll put Ryback up here at doubtful because I think Ryback actually did main event a couple pay-per-views. But could they have ever actually put the title on Ryback? I don't know. He sold a lot of merchandise. I'm trying to give some benefit of the doubt. He was just a crap wrestler. But that never really mattered, I feel. I don't know. Ryback, if he came up in 1988, I feel like would have been fine. He would have been a total main eventer all the time. He's one of them dudes that somebody would have found in the gym, and then he'd show up on day one and Vince would be like, "Damn, pal, we're going to use you at WrestleMania." And then they do. Well, that's what happened with Sid, basically. Let's see here. Daddy Ass. Love Daddy Ass. What are you smoking? The guy had no promo skills whatsoever. The DX relied on him say one line because that's all they can get out of him. Sorry. Daddy Ass. What are you smoking? Finger me, Daddy. Sorry. Another guy, I'm going to say... I'll give him pretty sure, even though I was never a big fan of him. I thought he was just a guy with a microphone, but evidently Vince McMahon really loved this guy. So he probably would have been a main eventer had John Cena and Randy Orton not conspired to kick him out of the WWE. Plus he got a misdiagnosis apparently of some sort, which got him out of which took his money in the bank away from him. I'm pretty sure Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy would have ended up a main event guy. I'm pretty sure that would have happened. Whether or not I think he should have been is another issue, but maybe I could have been convinced. He's going to be the last guy in the pretty sure column. DiBiase, great look, great pedigree. Pretty doubtful that would ever happen. Owen Hart. So I'm trying to think about what Bret Hart had that Owen Hart didn't have. And I guess like being booked as the angry younger brother of like a perpetual champion is probably not a great recipe for a guy to be a main eventer. And I know this is probably sacrilege by putting here Owen Hart here in Doubtful, because I know he was like innovative with his wrestling and he had tons more personality than Bret. But coming in as Bret Hart's younger brother and then booking him as sort of just like a pissed off, bitter younger brother, I just, from a personality standpoint, I feel like if he had any shot at the main event, he would have been a lot more than he ended up being. Like, I feel like he was sort of a role player in the later Nation of Domination. That didn't really do much for him. He didn't really stand out besides being, I don't know, I just don't see the star power there. Maybe I'm high. I don't know. I mean, I can tell you I'm not high because I haven't smoked any weed. I think this is John Morrison based off the abs alone. I'm actually going to put John Morrison up here at pretty sure. So I lied. I'm going to add one more pretty sure, and I'm going to move my camera so that John Morrison can get some shine here. Oh, here we go. Put the camera right here. Then we're left with R-Truth. So R-Truth obviously has been a comedy act for a very, very long time. It's his thing. He nailed it. He's probably the greatest comedy actor of all time. I'm sorry, comedy wrestler of all time. You know, I love Gato and everything. I'm sorry, Gato. Yano. I love Yano. I love Orange Cassidy, but R-Truth was doing it bigger and better than them for decades now. We've seen him as a world champion, of course, in TNA. He was like one of the first TNA NWA champions, I think. Or was he the first? Maybe he was the first. I don't know. Anyways, we've seen him in that role, and I think he could have exceeded in that role in WWE. It's just he did the comedy thing. But fuck it, I'm going to put him in indefinitely. If he was rebooked, if he was booked properly as like a legitimate dude, I think R-Truth could have done anything. I think he could have been a main eventer. I think he could have been what he ended up being, was just a comedy act for the ages. Which I don't know. Maybe he's happier doing that. I don't know. But man, yeah, R-Truth, look, R-Truth could do anything. He could do anything. If Vince McMahon wanted him to have been a main eventer, he'd have been a main eventer. And he would have exceeded at that, is my point. You know, Vince tried with a couple guys, a couple people on this list. Mr. Kennedy, I know he wanted to be a main eventer. Wade Barrett, I think he had thoughts about him being a main eventer. Obviously, he put money in the bank on Damian Sandow, thinking it was a possibility, and then he just didn't see it. I know Ryback, Vince McMahon probably thought. So I don't know about any of these guys here. Like, maybe they would have, maybe they wouldn't have. R-Truth, he could have done anything. He could have done anything. Now he can't because he's just so known as a comedy guy. But I'm sure he's probably happy about that. Anyways, this is the list. Here it is. Let me know who this headless motherfucker is, because I don't know who that is. I'm going to feel stupid that I don't know who it is. So let me know who that is. Let me know in the comments, and then I'll let you guys know what I think. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let's see you over that other video. Hit that thumbs up, please. Hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. Till next time, let's go see what's going on in that video right there.